Hey ladies and gentlemen, I'm Locke.
And I'm Catchy.
Welcome to the Movie Bros.
Today we are reviewing American Psycho. You've all seen it, but you need it reviewed.
Exactly, one of our favourite films, I know that much.
Oh, is it your favourite Christian Bale?
It is definitely my favourite Christian Bale, taking into account, like, I love his work in the Dark Knight trilogy. And we've rated that very highly, as you can see in our other video.
He's been good in a lot.
He has,
He's been good in a lot. But this, back in 2000, this really put him on the scene. I think it was just... I think it personified him. Like, personally, he was like... If he was to put on a character that was really personified him as an actual person, like you all saw the rant he did on Terminator Salvation, I just think... This is him. Like, if he just went a little bit over, this is a good killer Christian Bale.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. And Christian Bale has been acting, I think, since the late '80s. He's been in minor roles, but this is the role that really put him on the map. I mean, he's incredible in it.
Yeah, based on the book by Ellis.
Yeah, Bret Easton Ellis.
Bret Easton Ellis. Yeah, that was a controversial book for its time. I think it was released in the '70s sometime. And yeah, this was, I guess, a controversial movie, not too much, but yeah, it basically plots out the Wall Street exec.
Yeah, a investment banker.
He basically goes on a well, he kind of slowly loses his mind and gets consumed by sort of psychosis of sorts, and it was a decent trek through it, but the ending was... Well, what did you think of the ending?
The ending is something that's always controversial. It means a lot of things to different people. I think it's open to everyone's individual interpretation. Yeah. How you see this movie is how you see it. Someone else is not going to see it the same way.
Yeah, but it had some pretty notable acting. I thought. Jared Leto, I don't know, you don't like Jared Leto?
Jared Leto, look, he's a good actor, but yeah, I didn't think he didn't stand out in this part.
I liked him. You didn't like him in Requiem for a Dream. I loved Requiem for a Dream.
I'll put my hand up there. I don't really like it. It's okay.
I really liked it. I thought Jared Leto was awesome in that, and he was okay in this.
He plays a very confident, also business banker, but he's sort of a level above Patrick Bateman, who Christian Bale plays, and
the infamous card scene.
Card scene. It even has a watermark.
It has a watermark. It's bone. Yeah,
basically,
awesome.
Patrick Bateman is... Would you call it insecurity?
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a paranoid insecurity. It's like it's slightly psychotic, and it's a slight... it bends reality, and it's all through the lens perception, so it's all open to interpretation.
Yeah, exactly.
I really loved it.
In this particular scene, Patrick Bateman shows his business associates that he has a new business card.
Yeah.
Eggshell, Romalian type.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
And then each one of them produces their cards, and finally we see Paul Allen's cards, who is Jared Leto's character in this, and Christian Bale... His hand physically starts shaking when he sees the card, and in his own mind he has his inner monologue, and it even says, "Oh my God, it even has a watermark." Yeah,
it goes through that, like when he got to the restaurant, and he was afraid that he wouldn't get a good table, but then when we saw he did, an awesome wave rushed him. It kind of sets the pace for his personality and the environment that this whole thing is set in, and for the corporate exec back in, I think it's set in 87. Yeah, 87.
Yeah, it gives us a real look into the 80s materialism of America.
Yeah, and he goes through a lot of 80s pop songs. I love that act scene where he puts on Huey Lewis in the News.
Yeah,
have you heard Huey Lewis in the News? And he's like, have you got a dog or something? Wham! And it's like, yes.
Yeah, we'll say Jared Leto has a pretty cool death scene.
Outro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pretty cool intro, pretty cool outro. Yeah. He has, let's say, varying romantic interest.
Well, yeah. With his character, I think love and relationships, it's never enough. They're always superfluous. They don't really matter. Yeah,
it's like his recognized relationship is kind of not overly important to him, and it's more
to keep up a facade of being normal.
His facade, and his actual sexual lust is more directed into his own macabre and his own psychotic violent imagery that he kind of sets out with prostitutes and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. And irony in this movie is abundant. I mean, in one scene, Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale, is talking about the importance of feeding the homeless and housing them, and in the very next scene he goes out to a homeless man and he stabs him, he murders his dog. So there's irony in each scene, and really I think each murder is sort of, it's set up by the scene before. I mean, there's something that Patrick does or says, or a conversation that he might let slip, that gives you a bit of an idea as to what the next murder might be.
Yeah, I thought all the deaths were very, I don't know, would you say iconic? They were kind of, they all had their own feel to them, and
they had a lot of originality to them, I think.
Yeah, they were like the chainsaw scene, and oh man,
the chainsaw scene is awesome. Just seeing Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale, who is ripped in this movie. He's toned down, he got lean. He's incredible. He's in incredible shape for this movie. But seeing him wielding a chainsaw, hair slicked back, blood over his face, wearing sneakers, although running through the halls, it's funny and it's incredible.
It's creepy as well,
and a lot of people mistake this for a horror movie. It's not. It's an '80s look into materialism into America. It's a dark comedy. It's a satire.
It is in a lot of ways. Reese Witherspoon was pretty good at it. Some of the prostitutes are pretty good at it. But I love the overall ambiance of the film. It really sunk in well, and it was really Christian Bale at his rawest in this performance.
Oh, it was. He was fantastic.
He was absolutely great. So, what would you give it out of 10?
Out of 10, I'll have to give it an 8.25. 8.25. It's a great movie. I love it. It's something you can watch over and over again. In fact, I personally recommend watching it a couple of times just to see. Every time you watch this, you pick up something a little more.
Yeah, true. It's something that you have to watch over and over to get to really absorb. Kind of like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. Like every time you watch it, you see more.
Yeah, like a lot of Pulp Fiction you'll miss and you'll see more. But this definitely, I'll give it a 9.5 willingly.
9.5?
9.5.
I'll agree with that. That's excellent. It's really cool.
It's a really good film.
Another actor in this, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, Willem Dafoe.
He plays three very different parts. When he's a detective interviewing Patrick Bateman about Paul Allen or Jared Leto's death. And there are three distinct scenes in which Willem Dafoe interacts with Patrick Bateman. Now, the first scene, we see that Willem Dafoe's character, he's a detective, pretty much knows that Patrick Bateman, or has a fair idea that Patrick Bateman has something to do with Willem Dafoe, Jared Leto's murder. And then in the next scene, he kind of seems oblivious, and in the scene after that, we see that he's not really sure whether it is or not. So it's up to interpretation, as we said before. When you watch this movie,
very much an interpretation-based movie. It's a perspective-based.
No one's really sure if this detective even exists. I mean, it could be a figment of Patrick Bateman's imagination, his fantasy that he's slipping further and further into. But as you said, it's
sort of it's an insanity. It's a psychosis. It's a thrill ride anyway. So 9.5 from me and an 8.25 from Locke.
Yeah.
American Psycho. Go out and see it today. This is today's recommendation, and this has been the Movie Bros with Catchy
and Locke. Please like and subscribe for the video. It would mean a lot to us, and thank you very much.